I think I somehow disabled chat, the chat functionality, which is really stupid. I don't know how I did that. But in case you guys wanted to criticize me or tell me something, now you have a chance to. And that was a shame. Maybe you had you had comments for the Kemper stuff. Yeah, that's stupid. But anyhow, now comments are on, and I'm playing my Kemper, or the sound I found, over a backing track that I started working on yesterday, and I'm very pleasantly surprised. So hopefully you'll see this the track up on my channel in a week or so, because this seems very jam friendly. Let's try it again. Make it a little less distortion. X Printing, what's up, my man? Sir Dahl, hey there, Eden, what's up? You like it? Awesome, man. So what I'm doing now is I'm playing over a backing track that I started with yesterday evening. And it's the first time I use all the virtual Studio Players tools, the new ones in Logic Pro. And it's pretty cool. So just listen to the bass here. If I solo the bass, it sounds pretty awesome. So this is not me playing. And also, I really like the piano here. Just listen to this. Actually, this is the basic sound. And I've added an extra synth layer to it. So yeah, this is awesome. So hopefully you're gonna see this backing track up on the channel very soon. Maybe I'll try to see if I can come up with more of a chorus section so it goes between the soft verse and something a bit more punchy. We'll see. But for now, I'm just jamming over it because I was tired of all the other backing tracks that I had uploaded. So Playground, what's up? I started playing when I was 10, got serious around 17, 18. No, I don't listen much to Avenged Sevenfold. Nothing against them, but just haven't listened too much. Ali, the software is Logic Pro. AZ, what's up? Wow, Metallica and Pantera, that sounds awesome together. So if you guys want to see how I came up with this sound, I recorded a live just 10 minutes ago, but for some reason the chat functionality was off, so you couldn't say anything, and I was like, nobody likes this, but then I understood why. So yeah, if you want to see when I found the sound, you can just go back to that live stream afterwards. Ouch. What pedal are you using? Cool. So if you want the details, you can see my previous live stream where I came up with this sound, but I'm just gonna give you a little shot. Here's I'm using the Kemper right now, and it's the green thing below here. And this is a Friedman amp that's been profiled, and it's by Bert Muhlendick. Can't say his name. Yeah, and you're listening to my ongoing project here that is hopefully going to become a backing track for the channel. Play Wonderwall. I don't know Wonderwall, sorry. So this is Logic Pro I'm using, and I'm exploring the new studio musicians. We've always had the drummer in Logic Pro, but now we also have a keyboardist and a bassist, and they sound really good. I mean, just listen to the bass here. Not that easy to hear, it's fake. I usually play the bass in my backing tracks, but I wanted to try this. And then the drummer. Pretty okay. But what's really cool here, I think, is the piano. Because I'm really bad programming piano, and I'm really bad at playing piano, so I couldn't get this without some AI magic here. Or AI, it's just intelligent pianist, I guess that's AI. But I also duplicated the track, and now I have like a synthesizer behind. I don't know if you can hear that. There's a layer. Yeah, programming drummers is a slow process. Now it also has this, you can ask the keyboardist to do just pads, layers. So I did this. Pretty nice. And if we add everything else, we get Thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, VST instruments are pretty cool. I was never good at programming, and for some reason I never got myself a controller keyboard, but now I have. And that's a shame. I should have gotten it a long time ago, because it really helps you get good VST performance. If you just program them in the piano roll, it's bound to sound like a machine unless you spend a lot of time, you know, kind of humanizing it. And it's just silly when you're a human and you could try to play it. So yeah, I wish I had one 20 years ago. But anyhow, now we have so many cool tools, so there's no excuse for not making lots of music. Nayam, you want to get good and you know how to strum. That's awesome, man. So it's hard to define good, but if you play on a daily basis for a couple of years and you play the stuff that's awesome to you, you know, stuff you like playing, stuff you like listening to, then you will get good. I promise you. I'm just playing F sharp minor now. So your trusty pentatonic box on the 2nd fret. Corn puppies, thank you. Just that one. So as soon as you hear me do something that sounds like rock and roll, it's a pentatonic scale. And when you hear me play something sounds a bit more like a classical melody, it's the F sharp minor. So I'm kind of alternating between the F sharp minor pentatonic and the F sharp minor scale. Pakistan, what's up, my man? Stockholm, Sweden here, by the way. Where are you guys from? It's always interesting to know what mix we have. So drop your country and city. Corn puppies, you're too kind. Thanks for the support, man. And when you hear me do something like that, a little bit quicker and doesn't quite sound like the other runs, it's because I'm playing an arpeggio. So in this case, I'm playing the C sharp major arpeggio and I'm in F sharp minor. So that gives me a dominant 5 kind of sound, which is a little bit of theory for you, but it's something I keep returning to. Do I play with the backside of the pick? Oh, Papua New Guinea, that's cool. It's a place I've never been. Do you play with the backside of the pick? This is a triangular pick, so there is none. For a slightly more standardized pick, this is a take on the Jazz 3. No, I don't. Very rarely. I guess I could if I wanted to have a more warmer and muffled sound, but typically I just change to another pick, at least when working here in the studio. But maybe I should try it more often, just play with the backside of the pick. Ah, I messed up. Yeah, interesting, Merriman, about the Telecaster there. I agree what you say. It's a very flexible instrument. And it's one I think I've matured into, if that's a thing. So I've had the Telecaster for quite a while, just because I knew that it, I should play it. There's something special with it. But it's not until recently that I really found how good it is, I guess. It's this perfect compromise between, well, Stratier sounds and more high gain humbucker sounds, but it's neither of those, right? But you can still, if you were forced to play a gig where you would need those kind of sounds, you could get away with the Telecaster. Yeah, it's weird, before you get a chance to try these instruments and learn them, it's easy to think that it's just it's just talk. What does it matter? The shape of the instrument, who cares? But it does matter. And what even matters more are the subtle details, like the type of saddles and how on this specific instrument, like on the Telecaster, the pickups are actually firmly attached to the wood of the body, whereas on a Strat, they're just hanging loosely in the plastic pick guard, so that changes things as well. So I agree, it's a very cool instrument, and I have a 5-way switch here, so I can run these pickups in series as well, which is what I'm doing now. It gives me this juicier sound, as opposed to single coil. So here are together. So it does help a little bit with that, as opposed to single coil, which is more articulated. Doesn't quite help with the runs in the same way. Trying to find my way into the diminished arpeggio there. Oops. Yeah, that was a cool solo, Prince, there with the tribute. Was it Why My Guitar Gently Weeps, right? Very, very good stuff there. Hoof, well spotted. It is Scalloped. And if you check out my shorts, you're gonna see that many of the comments are filled with amazement and just non-factual statements about scalloped boards. Because this is my own do-it-yourself and work-in-progress scallop. And it's just scalloped where I fret, because I wanted to remove as little wood as possible and keep as much tone as possible. It definitely turned it into a cool instrument, or even cooler instrument. Hey there, Mazda. I don't have an SG. At some point I might get one. I've never been a huge AC/DC fan, so maybe if I were, I would have gotten one earlier. Thank you, Hoof. I'm not sure I'm an innovator, but it's fun experimenting with this kind of thing. Haha, part of the flat earth. Stockholm, Sweden. How about you, man? You can get some Guns N' Roses. Ground Shopper, thanks so much, man. So I'm gonna try to include some more technical practicing in this jam, because I need to do that as well, as I'm hoping to record some shorts for you guys with some of that stuff. So quickly, scalloped frets, do they have an advantage? Yes, they do. And the easy explanation is just like jumbo fret wire, they help your fingertips not touch the wood, so that when you bend or when you just hammer on, you get a much cleaner connection with the note and the string, and that helps a lot. There are also downsides. If you use excessive tension when fretting chords, you're going to go out of tune. But even with a jumbo fret guitar, if you add scalloped, it's a different feel. You don't necessarily need it, but it feels nice. This guitar had vintage style frets that were worn down, so scalloping changed everything on it. Cool, California. I was actually born in California. I was just there for 2 weeks. My father was a Swedish diplomat, and then we moved on. So just an interesting story. San Francisco. You have some silky skills. What are you thinking when freestyling a solo? Thank you, Merriman. What am I thinking? That's a good question. So when you actually perform, which is what I'm trying to do now, I'm not thinking as much, right? But when practicing these kind of improvs, I'm thinking a lot. And I think you should think. One of the best ways to get some smoothness and melody going when improvising is to actually force yourself to constantly do pauses so that your fingers don't play. Instead, your brain gets to think, what am I going to play next? I'm not allowed to play for 2 seconds. So what am I going to play when I get to play, you know? So don't play. It's hard, but okay. Now my brain is starting to think what it could do, right? And I'll play a little bit. And then pause again, see if you can think of something. And even if what you play doesn't correspond at all to what you're thinking in your head, that doesn't matter. The point is just that the fingers shouldn't get the last word here. It should be the brain that at least gets the first word here. Wow, thank you, Ground Chopper from Germany. Pink Floyd cover band, man, that would be something, wouldn't it? I've never scalloped the bass, and I don't think I ever will. I just have one bass guitar, and I don't play it a lot. Turbo, I can play funky stuff. Scallop has nothing to do with that, you know. Whatever, you can. What would be funky? I don't know. I have a high gain sound now, but I guess you could do the with a less gain. That doesn't matter. Scalloping has nothing to do with that, you know. It has nothing to do with sliding, you know. When you slide, the string touches the fret wire. It has nothing to do with the wood on the fretboard. So you can slide as much as you want to with a scallop guitar. Sure, it feels a little bit different, but it's absolutely no feeling. Alan, I'm using the Kemper Profiler. So how does your mood dictate the solo? That's a good question. Well, actually, my mood is probably going to dictate the choice of backing track. So, and I mean, that's a simplification, because even if my mood is good, I do prefer like darker and sorrowful and that kind of feel, right? So, but I guess if my mood was really bad, I'd need it even more. I mean, this has a minor vibe, right? And that's purposely. I added, it's basically just add 9 chord and then just like a 7 or diminished really kind of chord. So I prefer that in general. How much no pick playing do you do? Interesting question there. So I'm not sure you mean like hammer-ons from nowhere, like this. Oops. Really poor sound there. One more time. Like that, or if you mean like hybrid picking legato, or just check my right hand. You can see this, right? I'm doing that a lot. Ooh, I got some hate from Spain. That's pretty cool. So is that what you meant? I do both a lot, and actually now I started without warming up. So you know, typically I would, if I wanted to really try to perform well, I would at least warm up for an hour, and then I stand a much better chance of nailing every note, you know, when picking. I would practice a like that, and then I could try to include that in my. So it depends a little bit on the shape of the day, basically. That's the answer. If I'm in a really bad picking shape, then I'm gonna rely a lot on legato, hammer-ons from nowhere, and hybrid picking. So using my finger on the right hand. If my shape is really good and I'm in the mood for some aggressive sounds, then I probably try to use more picking. That's interesting. Can you do solo with and without legato to highlight the difference? Okay, I'll try, but as I said, I'm not really warmed up for lots of fast picking. We can try. So no legato now, I'll try. Just very intense picking there. Of course I can do soft and loud picking as well without using legato. Still no legato. Okay, if we want to play faster, it's not as smooth, okay? But if I include legato, I would do. And these kind of runs. get a little bit smoother as well with legato. And if I want to do a Yngwie Malmsteen style run, there's a lot of picking, but there's also a lot of legato. Again, because I'm not really properly warmed up, I'm gonna have to rely on a bit of legato there. But I don't mind, it's oftentimes it sounds better. So the BPM right now is 75 BPM. This is a ballad. If you're thinking about how fast I was playing, I don't know. I don't think I'm that fast. You know, it's more of, when I'm in a warmed up, I think I'm pretty articulate. So my runs, they might sound fast, but they're not that fast. They're more like you can hear every note, you know, because that's what I've been practicing for the last 10, 15 years. I haven't been interested in pushing speed for a long time. Just not very helpful to what I want to do. I just want my runs to sound better. I don't need speed for that. I need better control. Alan, good question there. Which scales do you mostly use? So I find myself using the harmonic minor quite a lot since I've started working more on my backing tracks recently. It's just the vibe I'm going for. So in this track, it's like pentatonic, F sharp minor pentatonic. For the rock licks, or F sharp minor or harmonic minor for that darker and deeper sound. So basically 3 scales a lot of times: pentatonic, minor or Aeolian, it's the same scale, or harmonic minor. Those would be my go-tos for a lot of times. Take off your shirt. I think a mixture of both with and without legato. Yeah, that's also my preference. How much pot have I smuggled? Not much, or not any at all. When we did most of the traveling, I was a kid and I had no interest in pot. So then I got older and I still had no interest in pot. I just want to play guitar. I would have ever brought a couple of original Fenders from the US 40 years ago. That would have been something, but I didn't. Okay. So we can try hoof. We can try playing only with the fingers and no pick at all. Let's try it. It's hard with the arpeggios. You can do that. I don't know. That was not even having a pick, right? But a lot of times I'll have a pick but still keep it like that, so I'm not really using it. I can at any time just, especially for the sweeping, it's not that nice to do with a nail. How do I highlight chord tones during a solo? These days, I do it mostly by ear, actually. I find that a lot of times when I connect with the backing track, it's usually because I can kind of sense where it's going harmonically. But what I did in the past, though I never really liked that method, it's just too much thinking involved and I never got really good at it. But that was to just target the chord notes via arpeggios, right? So in this case, we have F sharp minor to B minor. So, you know, the F sharp minor arpeggio, triad arpeggio. And then you have the B minor. So you could just do back to F sharp and G sharp diminished. So just going for the arpeggios, and that's basically a lot of times what I'm doing, but I'm not as actively thinking about it, because if I don't nail a chord note, that's okay as well. You know, it's all about having a good flow. And when you practice improvisation daily, you realize that when you manage to get out of a mistake in a good way, that's usually where the best phrases come from. So that's when you stop worrying about targeting the chord notes, and instead you want to get more adventurous and learn how to fix those mistakes on the fly, because that's when you dare get spontaneous. And plus, you're going to stumble upon some very original phrases that you really didn't intend to play, and they can even, if you're lucky, become a signature part of your stuff if you catch them and if you repeat them. Nice one, bro. Thank you, the son. Cheers, Hoof. Try strumming. Strumming doesn't sound that good with distortion. You're gonna have to be very conscious about the strings ringing out, but you can do. I don't know, but it's not really not the type of feel here. Paul, crazy. Practice, practice. You will never be without girlfriend if you can play. Maybe. I don't know if there's such a rule. Oh, wonder. Been following me since Curious Coincidence, man. Why do most shred guitarists seem to prefer 22 fret guitars? You mean as opposed to 21 fret guitars, or as opposed to 24 fret guitars? Because I like guitars with great reach. So, for example, when I shred, I like this guitar, which does have, I don't know if you can tell here, that's the octave, so 24 frets. Here's the high E up here. So that would be my choice for shredding. But I guess Yngwie does shred on a 21 fret guitar. It's always nice with reach, right? A lot of shredders want to spend their time playing, you know, up here. So it's always nice if you can get a couple of extra notes, and it gives you some space for an extra arpeggio up there. I guess that's what it's all about. Oh, 24. Oh, so I didn't know about that. I like 24 fret guitars for reach, but there's a tonal argument to be had, but I'm not sure the shredders care about that. But a lot of people think that when you have 24 frets guitar, not only, well, it's the bridge pickup, no, the neck pickup gets a little bit further back, right? If the more frets you have, I mean, you can find some more extreme applications with 36 frets, but that's basically going to move your pickup all the way back here. And for shredding, sometimes this neck pickup can be really nice. It can cover up some of your mistakes, you know, in your runs. So that could also be an explanation. I don't know. I think it still goes down to preference. And not necessarily, I would say, with shredders, but maybe. I don't know what Kani is. I'm from Stockholm, Sweden. Where are you guys from? When playing fast line, how much pressure should I apply to the fretboard with my left hand? So you should apply a minimum amount of pressure. So the less pressure you can get away with, the better your technique is going to be. The smoother the flow is, the less you're likely to injure yourself, and the more possibilities you will have, and the more flexible your technique will be, so you can really come up with stuff on the fly. So tension is your biggest enemy if you're trying to get a good technique. So, you know, there's this idea that you would try just fretting any note and release tension. until there's no note ringing at all, and then you back off a little bit. So you have the sweet spot where there's almost no tension needed. That's pretty much where you want to be. Does knowing every single note on the entire fretboard is helpful? Yeah, sure. It's definitely helpful. As soon as you want to learn just a little bit of theory, it makes sense to start learning the notes. But it's not that hard because it's just the alphabet, right? So if we start from the A string here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts again, A. So you know the alphabet. So, and if you start from the E string, it's still just the alphabet, but starting from E. E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So it's not that hard. And then it just starts again, right, up here. So it's a E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. You know? So if you know the alphabet, I don't think it's that hard. You just have to know the name of each string. And in Swedish, and we have En björn går där alldeles ensam. I learned that when I was young. So basically something to remember the name of the strings. I think there's an English, do you guys know the English corresponding version? Just a phrase that helps you remember. E, B, G, D, A, E. So the sentence with those letters. So yeah, it's not that hard, you know. Once you understand that's just the alphabet. So you should learn it if you're interested in a little bit of theory. Maybe you're not ready for that yet. Just play songs, don't worry. But if you want to learn a little bit of theory, if you want to be able to communicate with other musicians, then yes, learning the notes, that's going to be cool. Oh yeah, interesting follow-up there, Turbo. So if you want to land on the F sharp, then you don't have time to think. Yeah. So yes, it's true. Sometimes you need to be faster, but in that case, I don't really think in terms of notes anymore. I think in terms of scale degrees. So what I've done instead, and that might seem more complicated to you, but it's insanely useful once you know it, is for any scale I'm playing, and a lot of times it's easy for us, you know, rock guitarists, it's usually just the minor scale, minor pentatonic. I do know the scale degrees. So if I'm in F sharp minor, I know that we have the root, we have the minor third, we have the fourth, we have the fifth, and we have the minor seven. And then it starts again. We just have 5 notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and so on and so forth. So if I want to land on the root, which is F sharp in this case, then I have a very clear vision of where the root is in all the positions. That's important, because if I know that, and for example, I know where the fifth is, that means I can just move a half step up, and I have my favorite interval, which is the minor 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Here's a root, minor third, fourth, fifth. That's my favorite note right there. And of course that makes the scale more of a minor scale, especially if I add the second, which is also a cool note. And if I know where the scale degrees are in the minor pentatonic scale, so I know where the minor third is, I just have to go down a half step and I'm gonna get that second. So I have, let's start from this root note. Root, minor third, I go down. That's also a favorite note of mine. So if I combine that with a minor 6, I get which is what you hear me play a lot. So yes, knowing the scale degrees is useful as well, or I think that's really cool when you're improvising and you know, because then if you stumble upon something and you're like, oh, that note's just above the, I don't know, the minor 7. Oh, it's a major 7, and that sounds cool in a harmonic minor context, whatever. You can start drawing those conclusions. Yeah, I think so the Turbo, should you learn the scale degrees or the notes on the fretboard? So as I said, I think both are useful, but maybe depending on, you know, the circumstance, how are you playing? I'm mostly jamming on my own over backing tracks. So being super fast with the notes on the fretboard is not extremely useful, but I've been faster and I could probably practice it again just to quickly be able to find that B flat or whatever. But for me, knowing the scale degrees is not even something I have to work on, because it's so extremely useful when I'm playing, like I said, because that allows me to know what the heck I'm doing. And if I find a good note, what is that note? How can I repeat that note? So it's just part of when you're exploring a scale. When I learn a new scale, I usually learn it in reference to a scale I already know. And I think that's usually how I explain scales to people, because most people know the pentatonic scale. It's like, well, you know the pentatonic scale, then why don't you add the minor 6, which is what I just showed you? Why don't you add the second? Now you have the Aeolian mode, just 2 extra notes. Because if you do it that way, it gets easier to learn, because it's not as much new knowledge when you can just add on top of what you already master. But also you kind of understand how similar the scales are, and the notes they share, and how those 2 extra notes affect the sound. So it just makes sense. Scooter Bug, I don't remember you, but welcome back. Go to Rich, what's up? Cool. So Turbo, if you're in the process of mastering all 5 positions in the pentatonic scale, that's great. That's a really cool start. That's how I did it. Then I would definitely advise you to learn also, when you get more comfortable, where is the root note, right? You probably already know that. So if you know the root note, then there are only 4 notes in each octave, right? So learn which is a minor 3rd. That's cool if you're playing rocky blues stuff, because a lot of times we want to end on this kind of thing, right? That's such a classic blues bend, and it's done from the minor 3rd. You know? Or you could, maybe you want to add the major 3rd to get that country kind of feel. Then you're going to have to know where the minor 3rd is, and just add the note that's right next to it. Major 7, root. 4th, bend up to 5th. Back to minor 3rd, 2nd, minor 7, 2nd, root. Yeah, exactly, Turbo. That's the minor 3rd, classic minor 3rd. Are there any other notes? Well, every note has that thing, right? And every note can be dealt with in so many different ways. But the general rule is chord notes sound good, and the notes right beside the chord notes give you tension. So you play with strain, like tension and release, basically. So you have your 5th, and you have some weird notes around it. Flat 5 is the blues note. So as long as you know which notes are the loud ones, you can briefly play a bad one and it's just going to give you awesome color. You can do that with every note in the scale, especially the pentatonic scale, which only has strong notes pretty much. Cool, go to Rich. You should write songs. No problem, Turbo. Glad it's useful. Hope you can apply this. Cool, guys. So it's been a lovely session. I hope you had as fun as I did. If you want to see how I dialed in the sound, it's in my previous live stream. I had to cut it because for some reason I had disabled chats, or I don't know, maybe YouTube did that for me. But I started off just dialing in and finding a good sound here by browsing through the rig manager. You can check that in the previous live stream. But anyhow, this backing track that I played over will be up soon on the channel. It's one I'm working on if you want to jam over it. And yeah, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. You've been wonderful, and I've been KristoferDahl. See ya. Cheers.